Today is a remarkable day. It marks the 69th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima. More than 6,000 U.S. Navy corpsmen and Marines lost their lives in this World War II battle.
Jim Baize is an Iwo Jima survivor in every sense of the word. Jim was only 17 when his ship was hit by a mortar off the shore of Iwo Jima, killing everyone on board except himself. He was injured but still fought hand-to-hand combat for 7 days on the island. And by the end of the war, he had been awarded 23 medals. He joins us now via phone from his home in Carmel. Jim, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, sir, thank you for your service and sacrifice to this country. And if you don't mind, let's start at the start of how you were able to join the Navy at 15 and a half and then carry on through the campaign as only a 17-year-old by the time you reached Iwo Jima.
Well, I was living with my grandparents, and my grandmother passed away, and I was 13 at the time, and I wasn't unhappy. I was living with my aunt, my uncle, and my grandfather, and so I quit school and went downtown to Indianapolis and got a job, worked for a couple of years, and a friend of mine said one morning, he says, I'm going to go join the service. And I thought about it and said, that's not a bad idea. So I went with him and passed a physical, but then I asked for a birth certificate, and I didn't have one. So, but a couple of weeks later, we talked a fellow into going with me, and that he stated he was my father and that I was 17, and they bought that, and that's how I got into the service.
Jim, bring us back to the day in February when you were told you guys were going to the island to invade.
Well, we were on an APA, which is an amphibious personnel attack ship, and that carries 1,800 troops as well as 25 LCVPs, which is a landing craft. It's a Higgins boat with a ramp that goes down. It carries 38 personnel. And we arrived on the night of the 18th, and at about 4 a.m. We were called to the mess hall, and we were fed steak, eggs, and pancakes, and of course Joe, which is black coffee, and so that was supposedly to be our last breakfast for a lot of us, and it was. And then at 8:30, we were called to the deck and to man the boats. And I was a coxswain on the LCVP number 13. And I loaded my troops, and we rendezvoused. And then the boatmaster then said formal wave. And so that at 9 a.m. On this day 69 years ago, we headed for the beach, and I landed. I was going to get to land, but at any rate, we was heading for Red Beach 1, which is right to the foothills of Mount Suribachi.
And Jim, tell us what it was like to be on that island on that day and kind of see all that was going on around you. If you can kind of explain your emotions, even though it was 69 years ago today.
Well, I tell you, of course, my boat was blowed up, and the Marine pulled me out of the surf, and medics got to me, and I laid on that island, and I was laying there, and I was just praying to God to get off of that island and get back to my ship, but I couldn't. But it was nothing but a blood-killing machine as the Japanese had. They had mortars. They had 1,400 and some pillboxes laying up there against that top of that ridge, and it was black sand, and you couldn't run in it. It was hardly run. But that's all you had. There was nothing to protect you. There was no trees. There was nothing. It was just flat, and it was a black ash, and which they call the sands of Iwo Jima. And so it was terrifying. And men were falling over. And the fellow that saved me was a Marine, and he got some armament off of some dead comrades, and so I got a Thompson submachine gun, an M1, and poncho and helmet, and so I joined the 4th Marine Division, 27th Regiment.
Jim, thank you so much for your service, your sacrifice, and of course for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.